the slide deck actually is that we have had a bug fix release between last week and this week. So
wow.
Yeah.
That is
And
good.
the slides are actually dynamically loading the version from the original source and put it into the slides, so I don't have to do that manually anymore.
And we are live. I've pasted the link in the chat window and I'm gonna do a tweet.
Will you do the regular summit intro session as well, or?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, okay, good.
I can do that quickly.
Then I can stop my screen sharing actually again, right?
It's okay. Find my windows. Too many windows, too many tabs. I'm gonna open the YouTube here as well so that I can monitor any questions from there. Just a second. Oh. It's here. Okay. Okay, welcome everyone. We are once again joined by Bjorn to run through the OWASP Juice Shop intro, but we will have some new exercises in this session as well. If you were here last week, don't despair, there will be new stuff for you as well. Welcome to Open Security Summit training sessions. If you're new to the sessions, well, Open Security Summit is a collaborative environment. It's a community. It's not just the event. The event happens once a year, but the community is in touch throughout the years. The way we do that is the Slack channel. So I will share the Slack invite with you guys in the chat windows, both on Zoom and on YouTube. We do expect your participation. This is a training session. You will get the most value by participating. If you have questions, you can unmute yourself and ask them, or you can write in the chat and I will be monitoring those. Summit is open. Everything is recorded. This session is live on YouTube. Go us. Yeah, and the video will be in the YouTube channel and on the website with the supporting documentation for you to gain the most out of the sessions. And respect, yeah, obviously, this is a very diverse community and we all learn a lot from each other. We need each other, so without respect and diversity, we wouldn't survive. And OSS 2020 is the hashtag for this year's event. Share it generously. And that is me. Over to you.
Thank you. So then I will share my screen again. Yeah, that was a good remark with the questions. I mean, we are not so many people in the Zoom session, so if you have a question in between, you can just ask it right away or just post it into the chat, and we can immediately pick up on that. So there's no need to wait till the end, actually. So that was the wrong button. Here we go. Okay, welcome to the second OWASP Juice Shop basic introduction, so to say. So we did one last week, I mean, and this one will also pick you up, assuming that you don't know the Juice Shop at all. And we will do some demos. The demos will be different than the ones last week. So even if you joined already last week and you're still not sure if you want to stay or leave, you can stay because you will see some new stuff at least. Okay, so first of all, my name is Bjorn Kimminich. I'm the project lead of the OWASP Juice Shop project. And this is our tagline is that it's probably the most modern and sophisticated insecure web application. We should actually insert a intentionally insecure web application there, but this way it sounds a bit more compact and nice. So for those who don't know what is OWASP, it's an acronym for Open Web Application Security Project, which is a nonprofit organization that has as the main focus improving the security of software in general. So OWASP is trying to provide documents, tools, and other helpful things that can help you to improve security over the entire software development lifecycle. And yeah, everything OWASP does is free and open. So all projects are open source and can be. OWASP is always happy to see more contributors coming in and help with the various projects we have. And the Juice Shop is one of the flagship projects of OWASP, actually. So I'm German. So when I tried to come up with a name for this project, even before it was an OWASP project, I decided to go with Saftladen, which is a German word for a dump. So a very, very horrible, some shop that gives you a very horrible shopping experience, or some restaurant that really serves bad food, stuff like this. So all that we call Saftladen, and you can split this into Saft and Laden, and that is in English then juice and shop. So that's where the name comes from. The fact that Juice Shop is written in JavaScript is actually a pure coincidence. So there was no intention when I picked the name to get the JS initials. Of course, when we came up with the idea of the logo and got that designed, the JS, of course, then meant JavaScript. So here are some customer testimonials, because no good application can, or good system, or online shop can live without very nice customer testimonials. So these are our favorites that we've seen mostly on Twitter. The original tweets are all linked here. So this is nothing that I actually came up with. I might have ripped one or two of them a little bit out of context to make them sound better, but that's just default behavior in commerce, I think, right? So that's what everybody does when they try to sell some product. So talking about selling some product, let's go on a little shopping tour to see how the Juice Shop actually works when you use it from the perspective of a regular average Joe user, okay? So the links here will point you to the official demo instance, which is hosted on Heroku, but I have a local instance running and we'll just use that. So when you launch the Juice Shop for the first time, it actually looks like this, or almost like this, because it seems I accidentally solved a few of the exercises already. So let's close this and close all these. So this is the Juice Shop. Comes with a lot of products, as you can see here. So very nice stuff that you can buy, from Juice, obviously, over its own merchandise, from actual face masks, which really exist, holographic stickers, iron-ons, if you love the logo, to bring it on your t-shirt, or you can get marks and all kinds of stuff. There's even for another OWASP project, the Snakes and Ladders project, which is actually a board game. Some time ago I made a virtual version of that in the tabletop simulator. So, and this is also offered as a product in the Juice Shop. So there's lots of stuff here that you could actually buy. So yeah, the obvious things happen, right? You click on an item, you get some more information. You can open up some customer reviews. I guess when I would be logged in, I could actually upvote these comments if I like them or if I agree with them. What else do we have? We have a customer feedback section where I could leave some comments. Awesome stuff. And I have to give a rating. Okay, 5 stars, obviously. And then solve a complicated captcha. 1 times 5 times 6. Should be 30. Let's hope. Thank you for your amazing 5-star feedback. Okay, that seems to have worked. There's an About Us page, which tells us the interesting corporate history. It also cycles us through some comments here from customers. And maybe, let's see, maybe my comment is also here. Yeah, here it is. Awesome stuff, right? So great. So I can actually see my own comment that I just posted. There's links to social media. We have actually a photo wall with lovely pictures of items users bought. And obviously, we can log into the system so we can actually buy something. But we don't have a user account yet. So let's create a new user account. So, okay, local at host dot, not an email address, host.com. Okay, password. And I can actually show a password advice here. That's lovely. So let's pick a really good password. Okay. That seems totally sufficient to me. And I have to give my account a security question. So what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite book? Number of one of your customer or ID card. Well, that is a great idea, right? So let me just quickly pick up my social security number if I were living in the US and just type it in, because why not? Huh? At least I will remember that. And it's totally safe to give it to the juice shop, obviously. So let's register. Registration successful. And let's see if we can log in. And it seems we can. And now I can start shopping. Isn't that great? So I can put some stuff in my shopping basket. For example, a melon bike, some banana juice, and I totally want the last 2 juice shop adversary trading cards, super rare edition with hologram effect. So 1, 2. Oh, you can order only up to 1 item of this product. Okay, so there seems to be some limitation how much I can get from these. Well, let's see. My shopping basket. Maybe I can get another one here. No, I can't. Okay, I can't cheat the system. It's too secure. So let's check out. Okay, I have to provide a new address. Okay, that is a valid, totally valid mobile number. Some street in Hamburg, and that's optional. Okay, so let's submit that. Now I can continue. I can choose a delivery speed, so I can pay a little bit extra and get my stuff earlier. So why not? 99, whatever the currency is, for 1-day delivery. That sounds like a good deal. Then I can, obviously I have to pay for all this. So I don't have any money in my wallet, in my in-store digital super fancy wallet. So I can't use this option, but I can add a new credit card, because why not? I always trust random new e-commerce systems I just visit the first time with my credit card number.
I think there's a typo.
A typo?
In your surname.
Is it?
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
First.
Please enter 16-digit. No. All good.
I'm loving
it's
this.
Valid. It's green. Everything's fine.
Everything's
so
fine.
Expiry month, December, and just for, I mean, if you think, maybe it's not a good idea, Bjorn, that you ask for credit card information because then you need to be PCI DSS compliant. We actually only allow as expiration years 2080 to 2099. So we can discuss the PCI DSS compliance issue when we get to this year. Okay, that's a deal, right? Submit. Let's use this credit card to pay now. Continue. And here's my order summary. I can place my order and pay now. And here we go, right? So I can also print an order confirmation. And this way I will get a very lovely PDF export that I can print, right? That's great. I can also go to the order tracking and see when the delivery will happen. So as expected, 1 day, and then it will be there, and so on. So yeah, there's much other functionality hidden in the Juice shop as well, like small features. You can of course edit all your addresses, payment options, etc. There's some privacy and security options. So for example, you can request a data export of all the data the Juice shop has about you, because that's a mandatory thing to have with GDPR over our heads, right? I can also request to get erased completely from the application again. I can also set up some security features, like, for example, two-factor authentication, right? So this is basically the normal functionality of the Juice shop, right? So it looks and works just like a regular e-commerce application would. Okay, so that's basically the whole idea. Of course, that's not everything, and it's not even what the Juice shop actually is about. So what the main use case and purpose of the Juice shop is to teach security vulnerabilities in web applications. And it does so by providing 95 different hacking challenges of various categories. So from cross-site scripting over all kinds of injection vulnerabilities, horrible security misconfigurations, some more like fun exercises with security through obscurity, everything, right? So everything you would find on the OWASP top 10 or similar awareness documents and lists, and a lot of other stuff. It also has, for example, some really bad anti-automation features, like this nice math capture, for example, that are, some are easy, some are a bit harder, but most of them are actually breakable, or you can bypass them. So that's the actual purpose of the Juice shop. All the difficulties in the Juice shop are split into 6 categories, the challenges in 6 difficulty levels. So there's stuff for new beginners, and there's also things for veterans. And I can tell you that the 6-star challenges, if you don't cheat or look up some solutions online, you will really need some time to get those solved, most of them at least. So what the Juice shop also has is a scoreboard. That's basically the central screen of the Juice shop, if you will, because it shows you all the hacking challenges and tells you which of these you already have solved. Let me quickly show that to you. There, here we are. So finding the scoreboard is actually one of the easiest exercises in the application, but we will just go there right now. So spoiler alert, that was too late. So this is the scoreboard with all difficulty levels visible, and you can see there's lots of stuff going on here, right? Some of the challenges here in the scoreboard are already solved. That's because it seems I didn't reset my instance properly, which is actually a feature of the Juice shop, that when you restart it, it will remember where you were and restore your current progress. Some of the challenges have this lovely hat icon here, And these are the ones where you can actually get some help to solve the challenge. Okay, so this is basically the main screen, and you can filter whatever you like. So if you're only interested in cross-site scripting, for example, you can basically limit it to just these, or if you only want to do injection vulnerabilities, you do it like this, right? So that's basically completely able to filter. Okay. So yeah, as you saw already, when I visited when I started the server, and when I visited the scoreboard, you saw these green information pop-ups telling you that you solved a challenge. So you get immediate feedback when you did something right, which is quite nice. And as I said, when you restart your server, the progress is automatically restored, which is pretty convenient actually. In order for that to work, you need to have cookies enabled. So please don't try this with incognito mode in any browser, because then your progress will, of course, not be restored after the next restart. When you click on one of these little university hat buttons, one of our famous hacking instructor scripts will start and tell you how to solve some of the challenges. And I think we can take a moment and try this out with one of the easier challenges, because I spoiled something already. So then I can also spoiler some more, I guess. Let's, for example, do one of the easier injection vulnerabilities, like login the administrator. So I can just click here, and now the hacking instructor will start. And let me zoom in a bit. So to start this challenge, you have to log out first. Okay. So now when I can do anything I want, right? This will not go away until I do what it asks me to do, and that is logging out. Okay, so let's try if we find a way to log in with the administrator's user account. To begin, go to the login page via the account menu. And again, if I do other stuff, this will just stay and wait for me to complete this subtask of the tutorial. To find a way around the normal login process, we will use a SQL injection attack. Okay, a good starting point for simple SQL injections is to insert quotation marks. These mess with the syntax of an insecure concatenated query and might give you feedback if an endpoint is vulnerable or not. Okay, so start with entering a single quote in the email field. Okay, again, I can type and it will only go away when I do the single quote. Now put anything into the password field, it doesn't matter what. Press the login button. Nice. And now do you see the red object error at the top? Unfortunately, it isn't really telling us much about what went wrong. So, and this goes on and on now, right? So, and we will not complete it. So I don't completely spoiler the entire challenge, but you can imagine how this actually works, right? So it will, the script will guide you step by step as much as possible through the entire process of the challenges. And essentially after the script, you will have it completely solved. So that's the idea of the hacking instructor. And the hacking instructor scripts only exist because they only make sense for the easier challenges. So we have at the moment, once this shows up again, if we only show the tutorial challenges, as you can see, it's like 10 ranging from 1 up to 3 stars, right? So for the 5 and 6 star challenges, those are mostly so complex and you need to do so many things, and even things outside the juice shop, that you couldn't wrap them into a tutorial. But these are actually should all work pretty nicely, I guess. Okay, you can also, for beginners, restrict users to go through all the tutorials one by one. So you first have to solve all the 1-star tutorials, then you unlock the 2 stars, then the 3 stars. And once you have completed all 10 tutorials, then all the scoreboard will be unlocked and you can just start hacking whatever you like. So that's pretty useful for example, for student groups at university, for example, where you don't want everybody to just wander off and hack whatever they like. So they actually follow a certain order of doing the exercises. One other big feature of the juice shop is that you can nicely use it in capture the flag events. So if you want to do that, you need to restart the juice shop with a certain command line environment variable, and then the challenge notifications will contain a flag code. Let me just quickly do that, because we will need that in a moment. So if we run juice shop in CTF mode, what you see now is always when you start the juice shop, there are some validations being done and some checks if everything looks okay, or if files are missing and other things might be wrong. But this looks good. And as you can see, because my browser was still open, the cookie-based continue code that was already applied here, and all my challenges were restored. So let's go back to the juice shop instance here. And here you can now see the normal messages without the flag codes, because I haven't refreshed the client yet after the restart. So, but if I do restart this or do reload this, come on, what's going on? Here we go. No, it was just loading a bit slow. So the scoreboard could use still some performance improvement, but it gets harder to actually do that because of the many filters and all the magic that happens here behind the scenes. For example, now that we are in CTF mode, all these buttons of these solved challenges get this little hint here telling you, okay, if you click here, then you will see the notification again, and now the notification contains the flag that you can use in a CTF to actually get some points. So how can we do that? You can basically give every participant in your CTF their own juice shop instance, and that's also the preferred way of doing this, because then everyone can make progress on their own and they don't interfere with each other with their challenges. And they all share one score server where they paste their flag codes that they receive. Now the score server and all participating juice shop instances need to share one secret that actually is used to generate these flags, right? Otherwise, the score server wouldn't know what a correct flag is. In order to get this easily set up, you can use a little extension project of the juice shop, the CTF extension, and that helps you to get your CTF events going on different platforms like CTFD, Facebook CTF, or Root the Box in a matter of minutes without any big manual effort. So, and we will just quickly go through this to show how this actually works. So let's install this little script. It's a Node module that loves to be installed globally. I actually have it already, so this should be really fast. And as you need Node.js for the juice shop anyway, it doesn't really hurt to also use this tool on top. So now we have a command available, juice shop CTF. And when I start this, it takes a moment, and then it will guide me through some questions and help me set up a CTF. So first I have to pick my framework, and the one I have prepared now for the demo is CTFD. Then you have to decide where the script takes all the challenges from, and it just uses the challenge, the API that is also used to populate the scoreboard. So I can just use this one, which is the official formal instance, but I could also just take it from my local instance here. This question is about the key file. So if you don't specify any specific any dedicated key during startup of the juice shop, this is exactly the key that is being used. So if I just use that, everything should work. And finally, you can decide if you want to give hints to the users on the Score platform. So you can decide between free or paid hints. So for example, we could make free hints in text form, and we could have paid hint URLs, which basically send you to some website with some more information about each challenge. And okay, so now it actually generated an export here. And as you can see, my mistake, I already ran the juice shop in CTF mode. So my my local instance doesn't even expose any hints, right? Because in CTF mode, you want to have the hints on the Score platform and not in each individual instance, because nobody would pay for anything in points, right? If they can just get it locally. And the script is actually seeing this and is warning me about that. So, okay, we can ignore this. We will just not get any hints now in the Score platform. If we wanted hints, we should actually just use the main demo instance, or use the juice shop in non-CTF mode when doing this import. So now I have this file here. What I have to do now, go back here. I have already a Docker container running with CTFD, which I didn't interact with at all yet, right? So I just, when you first visit CTFD, you are sent to the setup screen where
We
you
have
can.
a question in the chat window if you want to have a quick look.
Yeah, please.
It's just, the question is, the hacking instructor?
Yeah.
Is the question. That's the whole question.
That's not a question, is it?
Rusty, do you want to come off mute and voice the question or elaborate a little bit more? You can go on, Bjorn, if there is any elaboration. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is. So the comment about mentions the hacking instructor was merged last year. Haha, okay. Okay. It is not a question. Okay.
Okay, good.
Yannick told us the hacking instructor, which is the like, how do you call it? The guide.
This tutorial guide thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
tutorial guide. It was created during the last year's Open Security Summit. So.
Yeah, exactly. That was one that was basically the big outcome of the 2019 summit. Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can continue.
Okay, so this is vanilla CTFD, nothing done yet. So let's just quickly pick a CTF name. We can decide if we want to use team or user mode. I will just go with user mode for now. This is what you actually have to fill out. All the rest is basically optional. So admin. Okay, seems like a valid email address, and 12345 again. I don't want to subscribe to anything. So next, style, okay, doesn't matter. Date and time doesn't really matter. Integrations don't matter. Finish. So now we have an empty CTF setup, and you can see that it's empty when you go to the challenges page. There's nothing, right? On the scoreboard, there's nothing. So it's completely blank. If we go to the admin dashboard here, as you can also see, there are no challenges and nothing yet. Okay. So now the trick is you go to the config section, and there's a backup feature where you can export and import backups of your CTFs. And what this lovely command line tool actually did, it created a zip file that is the exact format of such a backup from CTFD. So if I select this now from my temp directory, so, and as you can see, I did this. This is the one I did right now, and it's much smaller than the one that I did 2 days ago. I will take the one from 2 days ago because there the hints will work. Okay, but otherwise it's essentially the same. So we can import this. This will take a second or 2 or 3. And now this is the only part in CTFD, at least, that is a bit weird. So it throws you back to the setup screen. So unfortunately, during the import, it will completely reset your whole CTF, right? So you have to do this again. Okay, okay, that was the email address, but we can just reuse that. Let's subscribe. Come on, why not, right? Style, datetime, no integrations, and finish. Your username cannot be an email address. Oh, come on. So finish. And now if we go to the admin panel again, you can see 95 challenges, right? Category breakdown, how many have already been solved, etc. And let's see, when I go to the challenge page here, this is now if I were when I want to play as a normal user, I need to be in a team. So I have to create a fake team, use my favorite password again. And now I can actually see the challenges, right? So, and what I can do now is just click on one of these challenges. It will give me the same description of what I have to do as you see on the local scoreboard of the juice shop. And it offers you these hints, for example. So let's, for example, this one here, it will now ask me if it will now just give me this hint for free, right? This is a text hint. And for getting another hint, I would actually have to pay with 20 points, but I don't have any points yet because I didn't solve anything. But luckily, I already have some challenges solved in the juice shop. For example, this error handling challenge. So I can copy this flag code to my clipboard and then look for the error handling challenge. That gives me 100 points. I can paste in the flag, submit it, and it's correct, right? So that's basically how every CTF works. With the nice thing that you, in this case, you just got 95 exercises in your CTF grouped by the hacking categories in a very, very quick way, right? And you can not only do this with CTFD, if you prefer, for example, the Facebook CTF server, you can use that one, or you can also use root the box, right? So all these 3 are available and supported by this command line tool. Okay, are there any questions in the chat that we should go through before I continue?
Nope, there is a question, when is the cat showing up?
The cat was there before we started the recording. I'm not sure. Maybe she comes back, but yeah, let's see. Maybe she does what she wants, not what I want.
Exactly. Cool. Yeah,
okay.
no other questions right now.
Good. So a very useful thing to do when you, for example, want to do these capture the flag events with many participants. You could let every participant spin up their own juice shop instance, but then you have to tell them the CTF key that is used to generate these flags, and they have to pass that in. And if they don't, they cannot solve challenges properly, etc., etc. So it's a bit of a hassle, right? This is where multi-juicer comes in, which allows you to just easily spin up juice shop instances for each and every participant on their own, or for each one, it's their own instance, using Kubernetes with a custom load balancer in front that actually makes sure that every team member or every individual gets back to their own instance, and you don't have to tell them some URL with a certain port, or everybody has to get a piece of paper with the secret URL of their instance on it. So this is all taken care of by the juice balancer in front of this multi-juicer setup. So that's a very, very convenient and powerful way to host CTFs or do, for example, classroom trainings with 20, 30 participants. And you don't want to spend time helping those who didn't install it at home to do that during the training, right? Because that can often cost you like half an hour at the beginning of your training, or people cannot really keep up with the challenges because they are still dealing with installation problems maybe. So this is a very good way to actually solve that. Another nice juice shop feature is its customizability. So you can rebrand it if you want into a completely different look and feel. I will not go into any depth how that actually works, because there will be an actual summit session on Monday, next Monday, on theming, where we will basically create our own custom theme together. So I will just quickly show how this works, or how this looks like, not how this works. So this is the juice shop, how it normally looks, right? So if I now go to my instance here and start it with a different theme, need to give it some quick time to start again. And it's back. Okay, and now if I refresh, the juice shop is no longer the juice shop, but it's the all-day DevOps application. And I should never do that on the scoreboard because it's loading so slow. So let's go to the main screen here. As you can see, there's a different color scheme. There's different products here in this, and as you might imagine, this is obviously from last year's all-day DevOps conference. So even the cookie banner, if you notice, and that was the main reason why I didn't close it yet, even that has completely changed, color, text, everything. So of course I want to have 24/7 cookies. And it really goes into the details what you can actually customize, right? So on the About Us page, for example, you will now find different Twitter, Facebook, Slack links, etc. On the photo wall, you can overwrite the photos that actually show up, except for one, which is part of one hacking challenge that is always there. But the other photos you can completely overwrite and set up with your own ones if you like. So this is a very nice way to increase the to help boost awareness in a company where, for example, the participants in a workshop, if they don't get this whole juice shop thingy, right? So they don't find that funny, or they have no connection to such a thing. Well, then you can just theme it in a way that it looks like your own company's web shop, right? For example, for merchandise of your own company or something like that. So that's a good way to actually increase the effectiveness of awareness trainings. You can also use juice shop in a so-called quiet mode. Then it doesn't show you any pop-ups for solve challenges. There is no GitHub link in the menu and stuff like that. which is also pretty useful in awareness trainings, right? Because then people are not distracted by this, by these notifications and stuff. That's particularly useful, for example, if you do this in, if you do some awareness session with managers, right? Because they are not interested in this hacking exercise stuff and solving things. You just want to show them how certain attacks work and what the impact of an attack is. And then this quiet mode is pretty useful. Okay. We have actually a very nice cross-site scripting demo, which I will not show today. If you're interested in that, you can just watch it yourself on YouTube, or just watch the corresponding part of the recording from last week, where I showed this one. Okay, let's go into some technical background. So, what is the Juice Shop actually built from? So we have a Node.js server in the background, using the Express framework to do all the server-side routing and basically provide all the content. The front end is an Angular 9 application with a material design front end. It's connected. It's actually connected to Google for authentication if you want. So you can log in with your Google account if you like. And that's actually, I will not steal your Google credentials or anything. So trust me on that. It's totally fine to use the Google authentication. Nothing bad comes from that. At least not for your Google account. Yeah, database side is very simple. So we use a SQLite file-based database and an in-memory MarsDB as a non-relational database. And this allows us to deliver the Juice Shop as a single Docker image, and it can be spun up in a single container. So there's no Docker Compose or anything complex involved. So that makes it very easy to deploy and also to scale up, for example, with multi-juicer then. Installation is all in all pretty simple. So you need a recent Node.js version. You can also use Docker, which is very straightforward, actually. You can use Vagrant if you like. You can also deploy it on your favorite cloud providers. The simplest one is probably Heroku, because if you just go to the, let's quickly show that. If you go to the GitHub page of the Juice Shop, and you scroll down a bit to the setup section, if you click on this deploy to Heroku button, it will actually send you over to Heroku, where you need to sign in or register if you're not, if you don't have an account yet, and then it will just configure and spin up a working running Juice Shop instance for you that you can use, right? So that's really straightforward. If all else fails, this is always my recommendation in trainings, for example, where I'm not yet using the multi-juicer, for example. So because this always works. It just needs you to set up an account on the Heroku side. Okay, Juice Shop is translated quite heavily into different languages. So our user interface strings, so the static part of the application, is translated into over 30 languages by now. Not all have 100% coverage, but we're always happy to accept help getting more translations for languages which have low coverage still. On top of these static strings, we also translate our backend data. So this is right now only at a good level. I mean, 100% obviously for English as the base language. We have 100% translation into German, and I think simplified Chinese is also next to 100%. So this is really nice, and I can maybe just quickly show that how that works, but we need to restart in the default configuration again, because obviously the products which are available in the shop in a custom configuration, there's no way where how I could actually provide a translation for that, because I don't know what you provide as a product name, right? So that's why only the default juice shop configuration products like apple juice, etc., are translatable. So if I click here on the language selector and, for example, pick German, then you can see that this is already translated, right, into German, and the data-related strings, they need one page refresh. But now this is also everything in German, right? So which is pretty nice actually. And if we go back to our lovely scoreboard, after it's loaded, we will also see that all the challenge descriptions are now available in German, right? So that's actually pretty nice, but that's also a bit of work to actually get some coverage there, because that's a lot of text. So that's why we very much appreciate anyone's help to bring up languages especially in the backend side translation on our cloud-based translation platform. Okay, Juice Shop is tested actually quite a bit. We use different tools for unit testing, Karma for the client part, Chai and Mocha for the backend part. So it's different stacks for different purposes. We use Frisbee and Jest for API testing. So that's basically testing the actual functionality of the API. And we have a pretty huge protractor test suite, which is end-to-end tests. And here we don't test if the shopping experience works, but here we actually test if the hacking challenges work. So this test suite will just do 95 attacks on the Juice Shop via scripting and browser remote control, basically. And so after this suite has run, you should have a 100% cleared scoreboard. Purpose of all this is that I don't have to do stuff like this guy, because I find crazy bugs like 1 year after release in some really weird place, because it was never actually tested automatically. For the whole DevOps part, CI/CD setup, we use a lot of tools. Our continuous integration server is Travis CI, which is doing a really good job to provide us different build stages for all the different tests. Also does remote linting, also does code linting and all that. It triggers the deployment if we do a tag commit to or tag push to GitHub. So basically everything about the Juice Shop is automated, except for the very final click on the publish button in the GitHub releases page. So that's basically the only thing where I have to manually click when a release is made. Everything else is just kicked off automatically whenever a tag is pushed over to GitHub. So everything is prepared, uploaded to GitHub, all the zip files for different operating systems and node versions, that's all completely automated. And that's really, really nice and keeps me sane working on this project, I guess, because I wouldn't want to do this stuff manually anymore.
So there is a question in the chat window. Is there any official walkthrough with all vulnerabilities and how to exploit them?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it it's not really a walkthrough, but there's complete step-by-step solutions for every challenge. And I will show that. I wanted to show that later anyway. So where you can find that. So there's actually an official companion guide that contains solutions for everything. But there's also third-party help available. So on YouTube channels and blog posts and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just sent you, which also popped up in the window. Rusty has found a little error in the redirection to Heroku. You can take a look at that later.
Okay. Yeah, I can take a look at that. So last time I tried it, it worked actually. Okay, you can also integrate with JuShop in some ways. So for example, you can integrate with the challenge API, like our command line tool for the CTF does. You can also integrate on the on some challenge and data definition files available in YAML and parse them, which I, for example, do for the website and also for printing the version numbers of the different modules here in these slides. So these slides are actually pulling the version numbers from live data from some YAML or JSON file. And what we also have, and basically we stole that from the multi-juicer, is a lovely Prometheus. It's a lovely Grafana dashboard, which shows you all kinds of stats about the juice shop, about your instance. And this is powered by some Prometheus endpoints, which deliver metrics about the application to this dashboard or to any other consumer you implement. That's very nice. And this will be covered in more detail, and we will take a look at how to set this up during the Juice Shop integration deep dive session next Monday. There's also a brand new webhook available, or a webhook call actually. So you can pass in a webhook URL to the Juice Shop, and if you do that, whenever a challenge is solved, the server, the Juice Shop server, will notify the configured webhook about this solved challenge. So this would actually allow you to track progress of consumers, of users, or students in some central place, like for example your learning management system or something like that. And we will also cover that in the integration session next Monday. So let's quickly go through some FAQs. So what things that you should or shouldn't do when you work or hack with the Juice Shop? Favorite question, if you can use your pen testing tools. And you can use whatever you like. You can run your expensive commercial automatic scanners. You can use OWASP Zap, or you can use the free edition of Burp Suite, or whatever you like. I just wouldn't expect miracles from these. And maybe even less miracles than you would get when they scan some PHP or other server-side rendered application. Because scanning all this JavaScript code that Angular produces is really, really tough, right? And there's lots of stuff going on in the client side that an automated tool has really trouble to actually understand. So use your tools, especially the proxies are really useful, because then you can in detail see and manipulate all the backend communication, of course. So every API call gets easily visible. If you are a beginner in hacking, you don't need to use any hacking tools. So it's totally sufficient to just go with Firefox, and in Firefox you can also edit and resubmit requests. So if just for playing around a little bit, that is also totally sufficient. So basically use all the tools you like and know best. And yeah, feel free to tell me if they helped you actually, or if they made things maybe even more difficult for you, or didn't find anything at all. I'm always interested in that. What you shouldn't do is take a look at the source code on GitHub. So the Juice Shop main repository should be considered off limits when you do a hacking challenge, or on your own, or if you also do a CTF or something. Because obviously the Juice Shop, in order to send you these little notifications, these green boxes telling you when you solved a hacking challenge, the Juice Shop needs to know when you actually did something right. And of course there's code in the Juice Shop which does these checks. And if you analyze this code, you obviously know how the Juice Shop will check the challenge, and you can just imitate it without even understanding what you actually should have done, right? So that's a really bad way of learning about security, by just cheating the challenge verifications. So don't do that, because you will just spoil the whole thing for you. It can be, if on the other hand, if you're, for example, working for a tool vendor doing static analysis, you can of course run the code through your scanner and see what it finds, right? So that might be interesting, but then again, you will spoiler some of the challenges for yourself. Otherwise, feel free to use the internet. You can. There are also some side projects to the Juice Shop, which are part of the hacking challenges, and finding them and analyzing them on, for example, GitHub is part of some challenges. So that's totally fine. If the Juice Shop gives you some hint where you find some information, it's fine to look that information up, right? Also, there are some more like social engineering or social stalking challenges where you need to do some internet search on some people, celebrities, for example, to actually find the answer to their secret password question and stuff like that. So that's totally fine. Just don't look at the GitHub main repo of the Juice Shop itself. Also, you shouldn't look at the log files of our Travis CI build server, right? Because obviously, when all the test suites are running there, it will also spoiler a lot of important information about how to do certain things. If the installation doesn't work, first check the README. If that doesn't work, we actually have a pretty good troubleshooting guide. Let me just quickly show that. So this is a very short guide because there's the actual link in here. One of the most important sentences here is that please don't open GitHub issues for support requests. That's what our GitHub chat is for, and the troubleshooting guide, obviously. So GitHub issues are for bug reports, feature requests, ideas for new challenges, and all that, but please not use that for support requests when your installation fails. So, troubleshooting guide. This will give you information about these startup checks that are done, give you an example how it looks like when it fails, for example, and it will explain each and every one of these to you and give you some typical solution how you could actually fix that if that appears on your computer. And then there's additional support issues that we've seen over the years and just have collected some of the possible mitigations here. So we had a few questions related to Node, a few to Linux, and that was, so the others are more like single issues. So it seems that on Linux, running a Node application is a bit harder than on Windows. You don't see any Windows here, right? Yeah, but maybe that's just because some directory permissions are harder to mess up or stuff like that. So, but if the troubleshooting guide doesn't help, you can go to our official GitHub chat. You don't need to register for this. If you have a GitHub account, you can just log in with your GitHub account to this, and then you can just ask your questions here in the chat. Okay, let's go back to the slides. Too many evil tools bash against be fine again. All users you created or addresses or clean reset. Also, all the hacking challenges will be browser where the progress is stored. Then right after the restart, which contains some really nasty stored cross-site script, and that is very annoying and all user will be gone, right? And you will only have the standard. This is the official place to go. So there's a companion on LeanPub. Which you can download for free. You can also read online, which is basically where we just, I would say this is the most complete overview of everything about the Juice Shop that you can find. So it goes through the details, how to set up the application, how the challenge tracking works, etc. information on all here. And for each category, there's a separate page with the challenge or with the challenges. And then you get some hints on how to solve this. This is only hints, right? So it will not tell you the exact things you have to do. If you are completely stuck on a challenge, you can go to the appendix for challenge solutions. And this now has actually step-by-step, just type what is said here and you get the challenge solved, right? This is very useful for when you are stuck. I wouldn't go through this right away. And first, it's always better to try to do it on your own. If that doesn't work out for a certain challenge, then it's totally fine to look up the solution here. But if you just go through this list top to bottom, right, then it will not be as fun as it actually could be. Here, just as a little gimmick, because my cat is not showing up actually. Come on. This is my cat when she was younger, right? So, and as you can see, she only has 3 legs. So that makes her even just more adorable than she already is. So yeah, so this is basically the ultimate guide, if you want, right, to the juice shop, and there's everything in this. Good. So if you find a vulnerability in the juice shop that is not wrapped into a hacking challenge, please let us know, because we might either want to fix that because it might actually be dangerous or really unintended, or we can try to wrap it into a challenge. So this happened in the past, that people found actual security issues in the juice shop that we didn't put there on purpose. So if you do, please let us know, preferably via GitHub in this case. But you can also, if you think it's a really security issue, you can also just send me an email first and verify that this is not a 0-day attack on every juice shop instance out there that might compromise, I don't know, your entire AWS account or something like that. That shouldn't be possible, but you never know. If you run juice shop on a cloud environment or in a Docker container, which is often comes as a package, some of the challenges are actually disabled by default because they might actually be dangerous. For example, some of the XML-based challenges are turned off because it's very easy to just kill your instance with some nasty segfault errors. And I don't really care if that happens to you if you run the application locally, because then you just restart it and everything will work again, right? But if you have some cloud-hosted setup for training, maybe you don't want that some funny student actually kills the instance of every other participant or stuff like that. And the same goes for server-side template injection, deserialization, and some NoSQL injection challenges, which actually have remote code execution potential, which is why we deactivate them by default, but only on Docker and Heroku at the moment. You can easily override this by running juice shop in the so-called unsafe mode, and then all the challenges will be there. But then it should be a conscious decision to actually do that. If you want to contribute to the juice shop, we have our backlog of ideas for new challenges and technical tickets and other things on GitHub. And we also have this lovely translation platform Crowdin, or we use that to provide all the translations in the juice shop for front end and back end side strings. It's quite convenient to use. If you're familiar with the OWASP ZAP project, they use the same platform, and it's really, really great. So if you want to help us translate stuff, we really recommend you to do it via Crowdin. Technically, you can also do this by submitting pull requests to our JSON files with the translated texts, but then I still need to have to re-import them into Crowdin. So if you use that right from the start, that would be even better. if you help us implement something, then we have a little contribution, a little reward program running, which is that for your first merge pull request, I will send you some stickers. Yeah, so if you do anything, fixing a bug, implementing some cool new small feature, and you get that pull request merged, then I will ask you for your address, and then you will get a small package of stickers and postcards and maybe other stuff, whatever I have available at that moment. Serial contributors might even get stuff, t-shirts, mugs, or other things. So, final question. A project like this, right, only needs one additional thing to make everybody happy, and that is a jingle, I would say. So, and I think we can maybe take the time to check if there are some questions right now. If not, I will actually, I think I have to stop sharing and turn on my audio. And then I would actually let you enjoy the 2-minute 50 version of our official project jingle.
Nice. There are no questions, by the way.
There are no questions. Okay. So it seems you really want to listen to this jingle. So, and then I can finally drink something while the jingle is running, which is great. So let's go.
When you wanna shop online, then you had better be sure the experience is safe and also secure. Don't wanna let no SQLi or cross-site scripting ruin your day. No, you wanna break into a joyous song and say, Choose shop, choose shop. You can order tasty beverages in any quantity. Choose shop, choose shop. Just don't test the site with Burp Suite or you won't like what you see. Now if you're feeling kinda sneaky and you're inclined to explore, you might find inside the Juice Shop a hidden scoreboard. It will point you towards a vulnerability or maybe two. And when you're done, you'll say this site should get a code review. Choose shop, choose shop. It has got more holes than a warehouse filled with gallons of Swiss cheese. Choose shop, choose shop. It's a wet nightmare of broken code that'll bring you to your knees. I wouldn't let my credit card go anywhere that's near it. If you give Juice Shop your password, then you should surely fear it. So in conclusion, I would like to say a final thing or two. I won't be shopping at the Juice Shop with my coupon code for June. The site is nothing more than one big pile of HTTP fail. Whoever made this site should rot for years in internet jail. Juice Shop, Juice Shop. You can order tasty beverages in any quantity. Juice Shop, Juice Shop. Just don't test the site with Burp Suite or you won't like what you see.
Mic on.
So if that wasn't brilliant, then I don't know what is. So big thanks to Brian Johnson who made this lovely song. Actually, this long version of the song is even part of one of the hacking challenges. So there's one cross-site scripting challenge where you need to inject this SoundCloud player. which might be one of the reasons why the song is already at 5,000 something plays. So, but maybe I just listen to it every morning when I wake up, right? And I'm doing that maybe for quite a time already. No, but seriously, this is actually a really great contribution to the project. And I don't think many open source projects actually have a jingle, to be honest.
No, they don't. They definitely
Yeah,
don't. This is the first time I'm hearing a jingle.
Actually, this started as a fun idea, and Brian actually made a short version of the jingle, I think like 30 seconds or something, as an alpha pre-release.
Mm-hmm.
And we embedded that also in the Juice Shop, and it's still in there, even with a little badly made music video. And when that short version plays, it will show you some subtitles. And one of the 6-star hacking challenges is to inject cross-site scripting, some cross-site scripting into these subtitles. So, and this is nothing that you do just out of the box without thinking about it for quite a bit first, I guess, or even cheating at the end because you totally give up and have no idea how to do that, which is fine. So Juice Shop is for everybody. There's hard stuff and easy stuff. Okay, so last content slide, my personal favorite, the Juice Shop success pyramid. Over the years, we had a total of 66 contributors. It's an OWASP flagship project since 2016. So basically, I submitted the Juice Shop when it was already finished in an earlier version, of course. And so I created it starting 2014. 2016, it became an OWASP project, and shortly after went to flagship status, and it's doing well ever since. As you can see, we take this with the whole test automation quite serious. So 85% coverage is not so bad for an open source project, in my opinion. And well, our usage rate speak for themselves too. So 34,000 downloads of our GitHub releases, SourceForge downloads, which are copied over from GitHub, also 14,000, which is quite nice. Docker image pulls 4.1 million at the moment. This number might come a little bit, might have been influenced a little bit by some mistake that one time happened in the multi-juicer project, where it pulled maybe a little bit too often than it actually should have. But I still think we can make it to the 10 million at some point. So even without cheating through hosting crazy multi-juicer instances. So what's up on the roadmap? Well, obviously next Monday we have this dedicated Juice Shop day, so to say, at the Security Summit with 3 deep dive sessions and 1 cocktail party, as we called it. So that will be a more like a fun Q&A event. We will go through some to the results of a survey that we did with our users, where we had, I think, almost 70 answers already. So it's a pretty good information base that we have there. In this year's Google Summer of Code, our student working with us is doing a friendly chatbot for the Juice Shop that will, I guess, I mean, the main purpose of these chatbots, which are often down here in the bottom right corner, is to annoy you with, how can I help you? Ask me something. And this is exactly what the Juice Shop needs, I think. Of course, the idea is to make it also vulnerable to certain attacks, so that the chatbot can actually endanger your Juice Shop instance in some way. And part of the session on Monday on integration, so the integration deep dive will also be this new challenge solution webhook, which is not really sophisticated rocket science. It's actually quite simple, and I hope that over the rest of this year, this can actually see some usage, and we get some feedback, refine it maybe a little bit, extend it or whatever, so it actually gets better tested. Timeline for the juice shop is always when it's done. In most cases, it will be done earlier because I spend way too much time on this project, actually. So additional information you can find on the official website. All the code is on GitHub. So for the juice shop itself, for the CTF extension, and also the Markdown code for the ebook is also available on GitHub. It's all very generously licensed. So the code projects are always MIT, and otherwise I'm always using pretty friendly Creative Commons licenses. The artwork is also available online, and you can also use that for other things if you like. And if you are looking for something to use the juice shop in, and you're not keen on writing your own lecture on information security from scratch, feel free to take a look at the one that I did for a class that for a lecture that I'm giving now for in the third year already in a small university near Hamburg. So feel free to take a look. It's also Creative Commons. Yeah, that's basically it. Not 1.5 hours, but close to it. So I will stop sharing my screen now. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them right away. I had no chance to look at the chat in the meantime.
Yeah, don't worry about the chat. There weren't questions, but you can look at the chat. It's Rusty has found this a redirection link issue, but I think you guys can talk about it offline. There weren't any further questions, but if there are, please, you can
just unmute and ask away.
Ask a small group here today. We have 3 sessions running in parallel, so your audience is a bit split.
That's not a problem.
Busy day at the summit.
So if there are no questions, that's also fine.
And you can always reach Bjorn on our Slack or on Twitter or on GitHub.
So I'm on the Security Summit Slack, I'm on the OWASP Slack, and I'm always watching the Gitter chat as well. So mostly for technical questions, either Yannick or myself are typically very fast to answer those, or at least try to answer those.
Oh, right. Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching and listening.
I'm stopping the live stream.